Welcome into the Dedicated Podcast. We are live for the first time. Well, kind of live. We're live in person,
Right.
I guess you could say. Me and Jonathan Mumphrey usually record these online, so we're doing this in person for the first time. We're getting ready for the first DR7 event of 2025. It's year 4. We've got a guy who's been with us since day one, going back a long time, and that is Coach Josh Richard with the Money Squad. Coach, welcome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Glad to have you with us. And excited to see the squad this weekend. You guys have won a lot over the years, and so we're excited to see you back on the DR7 circuit. How's things been, and how are you thinking the team's going to do this year?
Yeah, things been pretty good, Ben. Hey, it's a joy to be back, man.
Absolutely.
This is beautiful. I love 7-on-7 or 7v7, however you want to call it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, this year, this is our down year. We say that, our youngsters are at their first year at the 18 level. We did kind of dibble and dab in the water at 18 last year. We fared okay, but this season, even though we're young, we're always ready. So
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, we there at the end on most of these tournaments.
It's crazy to think, like, we've seen most of this group of kids come up from the 12U ranks. I remember when you guys were dominating 12U, so now to see them all the way up at 18U, it's cool to see that progression and development. Have you seen that translate over on the Friday nights as well for those guys that are getting varsity reps?
Yeah, man, it has been. We've been doing this for a while. I think I calculated back. I think we started when the boys were about 9 years.
Wow.
And we started this thing before this was a thing. So we were just playing in little rec leagues.
Yeah.
And then, it took off. I met Moth, back way back.
Way back.
But these boys, man, they trusted the process. We say that a lot. Parents trusted in us. And, we have a lot of young boys, sophomores, that have played varsity and they already have like big major D1 offers already. So not a testament to me because I never make it about me, but it's just a testament to them believing in what's going on and then their parents believing in and just continuing to compete at a high level, which is what we always plan to do.
Absolutely.
All the time.
I know we want to get into a little bit more of your story, so Jonathan always kind of leads us.
Absolutely,
in that
absolutely.
So.
But I do want to kind of, pause for a minute and ask this question. We kind of started back in 2018 with this whole 7-on-7 model, 7v7 model, what we're going to call it. Mm-hmm. And I remember down there at 45 South when you guys, I think that's where I first met you. Kind of share with me that development process of how, most people see it, you got the flag game, which I look at as a rec ball, and then you got the 7v7, which I kind of look at the select side of 7-on-7, football. I mean, how does that translate? I know your son plays. How's that translated with the kids? I know Ben was asking that on Friday night, but do you think that has really helped to compress some time for them to really get on the field early and see for their IQ?
Yeah, I do. And we go back to that, a couple questions you had. The 7-on-7, 7v7 piece back when we met on 45 South. Before that, we were playing rec ball with, little leagues around here. And, we were playing the same kids because the teams weren't that big. It wasn't that known. Right. So, but once we stepped out into the, I would call it more tournament style play, AAU select, however you want to call it. We were seeing more competition. Now, we still were playing the same kids because it was only about 4 or 5 teams in the bracket or play for that age division. But what we noticed is that we were getting better and the teams we were playing were getting better because of the competition level.
Correct.
Now, as far as the transition from 7v7 flag to Friday nights, what we're seeing, me personally, is that these young men are learning route trees. They're learning coverages. The quarterbacks knowing that if they sit in the zone, where to get the ball out, when to get the ball out. They knowing now that, hey, my guy doesn't have to have him beat by 5 yards up the field. Let me throw him over because they're in man. So these different type of scenarios that we're playing over and over, and the competition level that we're seeing on your circuit and the other different circuits that we're on. Is unmatched because you're matching these boys against, or trying to match these boys against boys that they would not see when they come back home and play in their local high school teams or with their local high school teams. So again, they get that step up because they're already competing at that high level. So,
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's something that I always want to make sure that I get clarity because it's just a different level. But as we transition here, Josh, you've become very successful in what you do in life, and that's a lot of time you invest. One of the things we do on the Dedicated Podcast, we want to make sure we know people want to know the man behind that's with the organizations. I think that is very important. One thing COVID did for me, it really pulled the curtain back and I want to know authentically, who am I dealing with? I see people out here, Money Squad. Who are these people that out here talking about Money Squad? Or Right Choice, your company. I know we want to talk about that a little bit. But what was that moment? And I'll go first on this question. Mm-hmm. What was that moment in your life that you had to make a decision to dedicate yourself to become who you are today? And hold it, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about me, so we can all just kind of pull down. Mm-hmm. We all have that. We all have a moment, right? And I think for me, it was about 16. Never forget, I was lived in a little town in Kilgore, Texas, and love my father. But that was around the drug crack time, and a lot of our communities fell victim to that. One thing I learned through that process was, it was certain times that man wasn't a man, but he worked hard every day. And so he fell victim to that, but he still worked, made sure we had the lights on and things of that nature. But he was abusive. And so that's kind of when I picked up a weight and understood what pushing weight would do for you, get stronger. And I think that was a transition turn in my life that I became dedicated for the love of my mom. And what I found from that is the drive that I drive with today. But that also got me, recruited, starting as a sophomore in varsity, playing football, even though sometimes I just love the game, and going off to college at SMU and being successful in a couple of different businesses. That one dedication is the turning point in my life. Kind of what was that moment? It might not be the same as mine, but that you can find that made you want to do things different than what you saw in your neighborhood.
Okay, yeah, good question. That defining moment for me, just a little bit down memory lane, a little bit. My mom had me when she was 16.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Dad never was there. I don't fault him. I still love him.
Absolutely.
It is what it is. He's who made me, who I am, truthfully. If you really,
that's
look back at it, right? And it's not just me. It's a lot of people that have had this similar situation. Absolutely. But with my mom having me at 16, me being the oldest of, 3 now, I lost my brother when he was 20. But me being the oldest, I had to grow up real quick. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it was time my mama working 2 jobs. I got to come home. I got to cook. I got to make sure the house clean. I got to, I have to make sure the homework is done by me and my little brother because our age difference was about 3 years. So, we were both in school at the same time. But these are things that had to be done because, mama didn't play.
Right.
Strong
right.
Black woman.
Absolutely.
Hey, you either do it or you're dealt with. Like real facts. So, but that was a turning point to me to say that, hey, yeah, I can go down the road. I'm from Orange, Texas, Fruit City, small town, a lot of stuff going on, right?
Yep. Same.
But, I didn't want to follow in that, right? Now, I can't sit here and say I'm a saint.
Absolutely.
Everybody do stuff, right?
Yeah. They get caught.
Yeah. So. But at the end of the day, man, that was my driving force, right? So I knew I always wanted to do nursing since high school. So I took the little classes, got where I needed to be, and I was an athlete. I played football, started at linebacker, outside linebacker for my team, and we went pretty far in the playoffs, all that good stuff. I had a few little offers, but the competitiveness or the time, let's say that, needed to be a nurse. In football, it just didn't add up. So you can't do both.
Right.
So, of course, I chose to take the nursing route. I took what's called the scenic route, which is where you become a CNA. I was a CNA when I graduated high school. LVN after that. Associates RN. Bachelor's RN. And then my master's. So some people are fortunate enough to where they can go from high school, do 4 years of college, have their bachelor's, and then jump into the master's program. me, the way I did it that way, I don't regret it at all. But the reason I did it that way is I was able to work and put myself through school at the same time. So
make a little money.
Make a little money.
Yeah.
Make a little money. So, but yeah, that's again the turning point. I guess was my mom telling me her story because she didn't have to tell me.
Correct.
But she, hey, she straight up with me. This is how it was. This is what happened. And she's always honest with me. I ask a question, she gonna tell me the answer if I like it or not.
Right.
But I see myself being driven because I'm here to make a difference, man.
Right.
On this earth, I'm only here to make a difference.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, and I tell my wife, I tell my kids, my life isn't about me. Correct. It really isn't.
Correct.
And the people that think that their life is about them, they're wrong.
They're on the wrong path.
They definitely on the wrong path.
They're on the wrong path.
Right. So as many people that I can touch and that I can show right from wrong, or they watching the way I move and they like, man, that's Coach Josh, he did this, he did that. If they're able to benefit from being in my presence, that's blessing enough for me right there.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I guess I live my life that way. I'm always wanting to help. I'm always wanting to do, And these kids, like I tell them, I'm going to talk about this.
Yeah.
It's with this 7-on-7, I'm a bridge it, right?
Yeah.
With the 7-on-7, some people are making this more of a business. These teams, like they have multiple teams. And I don't knock them. It is what it is, right? But our fees are some of the lowest around.
Right.
But I only have one team.
Right.
And people say, Coach Josh, why don't you start another team? Why don't you have more teams? I say, because me, staff, parents, I'm not going to have multiple teams and have to spread myself thin. Because if I'm going to invest in something, I'm investing in it. Right. Full time. I can't do that with multiple teams. Now, I don't knock anybody else for doing it.
Right.
I don't knock you for doing it. Do your thing.
Do your thing.
Do you. But Coach Josh, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not set up like that.
Right.
So, again, I pour everything into these kids, and then in return, when that light come on for them, that's beautiful.
It's rewarding enough.
That's beautiful to me.
Yeah.
But did I answer your question?
Absolutely. And just to kind of piggyback, similar story. We've been knowing each other for a while, and I didn't know parts of that, so I really appreciate you sharing. Definitely didn't know Mom's 16. My mom was 16. My mom's gonna be here tonight. She's driving from here to go to work.
Okay.
And strong women. That's what the thing. And shout out to our moms, strong women that guide us to be who we are as men. Because they had to go and they had to grow up early. It was a different time when they came through. So same thing with my mom. She was honest and guided me through the process. So but man, so the thing is, and I'm glad you talked about that about your organization, because I see that same dedication that you do in who you are. Because I don't think you can coach multiple teams because you pour so much into one.
I could,
your time and your energy.
I could. Like you were saying before we started this, Mom. 3 games is draining. Yeah. If I have 3, this weekend,
you jump around now.
This weekend we are slated for 3 of the toughest games. I wouldn't have it any other way. We 18, we getting baptized into the 18, which is good. I respect all the teams we playing, but to play that and then go cup, I would be drained. I can't do it.
But everybody has a different process and different journey, and so kind of share with me, man. You definitely have a lot of time on your plate that you invest in other things. I know you just started a new clinic. Kind of tell us about your new venture. I remember, I was trying to get to the grand opening. Something was happening what I was doing in my new business. But one thing about Josh and I is we always stay in contact and check on each other. With a lot of the guys, I try to tell people, they see the business, they see the seven. I'm like, look, these are my brothers. We talk about whatever. We're talking about life, because if we don't sow into each other, then what is it about? We just out here, so we just got to continue to help each other. So tell us a little bit about Right Choice and kind of how that started. Give us some time on that, and then being contemporary.
Okay, cool. So Right Choice, let me tell you a little bit more about me first. I'm a family nurse practitioner. So I am what they say is a mid-level or an advanced practice provider, which is a step below a doctor. So my training has me to where I can do pretty much anything. If you have a laceration, I can fix that. If you have a broken bone, I can splint that. If it's something dislocated, I can do that. If you need IV fluids, I can do that. But the training piece is from years and years of the dedication to my craft. Now, the reason Right Choice Urgent Care was started is because I ain't gonna say fired, but I wasn't brought back to a job that was bought out by another company out in College Station. We're gonna put it out there.
Put it out there.
We're gonna put it out there. So I worked for a company called Caprock Urgent Care, and they sold their urgent cares, but they sold them to another company called. And I'm gonna talk because Integrity. I love you for this, Integrity Urgent Care. Thank you. So Integrity Urgent Care, they chose not to bring me back, right, or to hire me on with the change of the company. Right. So I went home. I talked to my wife. I cried. Yeah, man, I cried like a baby, man, because I'm like I've been doing this. I've done nothing wrong. Like everything asked of me, I do it in my profession. I got my skill sets are up to date. I mean, I'm not delinquent on anything, right? So I go home. I talk to my wife. Cried. Talk to her again, and I'm like, I think we need to start an urgent care. What's your thoughts on it? She's like, well, let me think about it. Let me pray on it. Let me see what's up. And then Doc said, let's sleep on it. The next day, she said, let's do it. So I reached out to a really good friend of mine, Dr. Petty. He's a ER doc. I told him what he wanted to do. He was in right there. Yeah. I reached out to a few more good people I knew as far as investors, And sorry, Ben, I see you over there. But investors, and they were like, let's do it. Right. So now it was just me. I do have an associate degree in business, but it really wasn't enough. Now that I know that. But at the end of the day, we jumped out, right? And all the statistics about business, if your business will fail, your business, you have to do this, A, B, C, D. Well, what I'm going to tell you is the only way a business, let me say this, the business that will never fail was never thought about or tried. Mm-hmm. So you only get these statistics because people try to do it, right? Mm-hmm. Me personally, I'm never afraid or never have I been worried about being told no. No does not hurt me, right? So at the end of the day, I'm like, let's do it. So we go through all of the leg work. I'm talking about it was a bunch of red tape, bunches of red tape, right? To deter you. Yeah. Right. Hey, that's
they want to know if you're serious.
Right? If you're serious, right? So we finally got to the point where we were able to, get the funding we needed, and we started the urgent care process, and everything was built out. Now we've been in business now for about 2.5 years, and it'll be 3 in June. So we make it to 3. They say if you make it to 3 in business, you good. So we clawing tooth and nail to get there. So we're doing a few things. Now the reason we came to name Right Choice, right? Right Choice Urgent Care is because our slogan is just make the right choice. Mm-hmm. In life, we do make some wrong choices, right? But are they really wrong choices? Right. When you think about it, you have to make that choice. You have to make a choice, period. Right. If you make the wrong choice, you just learn from it, right? Mm-hmm. Just like losing. Everybody, as a winner and a loser, it can still be a win from you if you learn from it. Correct. and you prosper, or you do things different the next time. Correct. Now, if you keep losing and keep doing the same thing, you might need a helmet on. Yeah. like for real. Not no football helmet.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Okay. Yeah, got you. But at the end of the day, that's what it's, it's about. Like learning and growing and what have you. But Right Choice Urgent Care, that's where we're at. 9818 Fry Road, Suite 160, Cypress, Texas 77433. We can take care of all your urgent care needs and some of your emergent care needs. All right, come check us out.
Check them out.
So I want to go back to the beginning days of kind of when your love for nursing grew, because this is not an easy field to get into, let alone to start a business in. So that's impressive in its own right. But what kind of led you to going down this path? Was it just helping others, or was there a moment maybe that led you to going on this journey, or how did you kind of get into the nursing path?
All right, so at 15 years old, we had it was called health occupational student. Yeah, HOSA, right? So I went to one of the little seminars or what have you, and I was like, okay, this might work. But originally, my field that I wanted to go in was physical therapy. Now, you think nursing was tough to get in? Physical therapy at the time,
Really?
this was back, I graduated in 98, so this was back in 94, 95. You had to, there was only 2 physical therapy schools in Texas, and there was like probably 5 in the nation. So it was very competitive, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm looking at my grades. It's math grade. I'm like, I don't know, I'm signing on. So then I say, okay, what's the next best field? And nursing is what it was. So, and I'm like, at the time they were really, really trying to drive us on the fact of the baby boomers moving out. So at that time, once I got into nursing, the baby boomers, so the field would be not as competitive, but it would be a high demand for nurses. So they basically telling you write your own ticket as far as. So at first I wasn't looking at it as a help piece. I was looking at a way to feed my family, future family piece. But as I got into it, it grew on me, and then that part of it took over. So as far as the money, yes, it's there. They do compensate well, but the joy I get out of it and the payment for me is being able to help someone with my skill set, or just them not knowing what's going on, or them walking into the urgent care feeling like run down and leaving out smiling and happy that they came. Let me say this real quick. There was a lady, she had just come in, she was opening a store, and she's gonna actually do a piece for us, a segment. Yeah. And it was mind-blowing about what I'm about to tell you. But she came into the urgent care, and I recognized her face, but she had lost some weight. And she was coming in to give us, she opened up she's a manager for a automotive company that opened in the neighborhood. And she came in and brought us some cards. She said, "Do you remember me?" I was like, "I do, you look familiar." She's like, "Well, I'm gonna tell you that you and there's a white gentleman, older guy here." I was like, "Dr. Pitt?" She's like, "Yes, you two saved my life." And I was like, "Could you elaborate on it? What happened?" She's like, "Well, I came here a few times, and on the 3rd time, both of you, each time y'all told me, the last time," she said, "last time that I came in, y'all told me that I needed to go somewhere else. I need to go to an ER, I need to go get checked out further." Fast forward, she ended up having leukemia.
Oh, wow.
Right. So her symptoms, she was having flu-like symptoms, but all the tests we did were negative, and the treatment we provided didn't help. So her persistence, and I told her, it was your persistence trying to see what was going on with you, had you coming back. But she came in, and she said that the oncologist said that if it was not for our aggressive management and treatment of her and our guidance to her, that she probably wouldn't be here, because evidently this form of leukemia she had was very aggressive. Right. So yeah, and I mean, she walked in, I gave her a big, I came from behind the desk, gave her a big hug, man, because in my profession, I usually don't see people again. Right. I'll treat you, get better, and that's it. I may see you in HEB or Walmart or something like that, but to see you to come back and tell me, that we fixed you is something that usually doesn't happen. Now, let me not fix them.
Yeah. They
come and tell me. They telling y'all what that is. Google. They telling everybody and their mama. But that's okay. That's just how people are.
Absolutely. So do you get that same kind of feeling when you're coaching? And then how did you get into coaching to that side of things?
Yeah. So I got to give a shout out to this little team out of West Orange, a good buddy of mine. They started a program, and they brought those kids together, and they had the blueprint, and what they did was they kept this team together, and they would go and they would play, and they weren't always the biggest team, but they would go play in these tournaments, and they wouldn't fare well. Sometimes they win, sometimes they wouldn't, but they were still playing together, and continuously growing. And fast forward, they end up winning 2 state championships back to back, right? So when I saw that and I was watching, I'm like, man, I can do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I got into coaching because of that, the fact that I can help these young boys that kind of look like me and some of them that don't, but help them with things that they don't know that's gonna go on in their life. All they gotta do is listen and trust what we have going on. So that piece of me, again, I talked about when they light come on. When certain ones light come on, that's the reward to me, because now I know that they can do what this thing we call life. Yep. Because at the end of the day, this sports is good, but they still have to live life.
Right.
Everybody not going to the NFL.
Everybody's not going.
They not.
No.
Everybody not going to play college ball.
Yep.
Everybody not even going to college. But what are you gonna do when it's time to get out of mom and daddy house?
Yes, sir.
Right. So that's the kind of conversations we have. That's the kind of situations that we gain from this, because anytime I can talk, and they'll tell you, Coach Josh always talking about lock in. Yeah, that means lock in. Like whatever you're doing, lock into it and do it with all your heart, all your might, all your energy. Don't let something take your focus away what you're doing, because once that happens, that's a wrap.
Correct.
So. But did I answer your question?
Absolutely. Everything and more.
Well, as we close, Josh, I think as we bring everything in, one of the major things that we always want people to know about our industry, our sport, I think, and as we talked about dedicated, we want to know the person behind, and running organizations, because we get the thing that everything, we got the street agent, we get all those different things. Nobody ever talk about we got a top practitioner. Nobody ever talk about a man changing his life, going down the wrong path and coming back now, helping and doing things with kids. We don't give those people that kudos. And I don't think there's enough. That's why we do what we do here at Dedicated, is because we want people to know you, the man, your what you're doing today, what you do, how you got there, and why you're doing this with the kids. So I really appreciate that, and so I just want to tell you thank you from me before being kind of, whatever other question he has, because that means a lot. I mean, as we grow as men and we can sow back into the young men, hopefully they follow the right path, make the right choice. So.
For sure.
Before we wrap, we got to put you on the spot. What's your expectation for this weekend?
Well, good question as always. My expectation is always to be in the championship game and win it in any tournament we play. I don't care who sign up in the tournament. That's my expectation, right? Now, realistically, we're young. I don't want anybody to be, they're young. We're not looking for an excuse, because we still coming to play ball, and that's what's gonna happen. But expectations is to win it all, man. And if this is bulletin board for somebody, let it be. I mean, it is what it is. The plan is to go 3-0 on Saturday, and let's see, we have 14 teams. That's probably like 3 rounds on Sunday. Yeah, 3-4 max on Sunday. So we're looking to be 7-0 after the tournament. Now, somebody might slip up on Saturday and beat us, but y'all all know that Sunday is when it really counts. So if you getting hype off this Saturday, beating the Money Squad, you want to go post on Twitter, go do all that, get that out. But y'all know Sunday is when it really counts. So we plan to be that in on Sunday.
I love it. Love, you got anything else for us?
I'm good.
Right.
I got something at the end. I will tell you that's definitely the clip that's going out tomorrow. So tonight, I know Ben know what clip I want tonight.
Him. You heard from him.
Put it out, man. We ain't never been scared, ever.
Yeah. That's Coach Josh Richard with Money Squad. Really appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us. Looking forward to seeing you not only tomorrow, but the rest of the season as well.
Thank y'all, man. For real, this was a real good thing, man. Big kid, I didn't know what I was coming to do.
I know.
So everything I said, this wasn't rehearsed. I ain't write it down.
No.
This was, to me, this was needed. This was a little therapy for Coach Josh.
Absolutely.
So
on the couch.
I'm on the couch. I'm good with it all.
We got some more. They don't know what they're coming into, but we got some more coming
It's
tonight.
good. It's real good.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all,
All right,
man.
appreciate you, bro.
Absolutely. Thanks you all for watching the Dedicated Podcast.